Hello dear students, welcome to the lecture series of Advanced Java. Today we are going to go in a bit more details of the servlets. We are going to learn about the life cycle of the servlets, and this life cycle we are going to demonstrate practically as well as theoretically, where you will see what are the various phases or what are the various things that are happening with the servlet, how you are actually calling the servlet, who is responsible to call the servlet, and what happens during the lifetime of the servlet, along with the destruction and moving the servlet back from the memory. So let's begin. Now we'll move on to the life cycle of the servlets. As per the theoretical concept, we are going to see diagrammatically how this whole life cycle will work. Now, you already have known earlier that all the various servlets are residing in something called as a web container, which is a part of your web server. So you need to imagine that all the servlets are by default in a web application, and this web application or your project is inside your web server, okay, or inside your web container, that is your Tomcat or your Glassfish. Okay, so all the details of running the servlets are along with your Tomcat or your Glassfish, that is your web container. So first of all, the thing that you need to do is, after writing your servlet code or your .java file, the whole project is deployed upon your Tomcat or your web container. This web container is supposed to be started first. So at your first step, you are going to start your web container or your Tomcat. When you are starting your Tomcat, all the files in your web.xml is read. Okay, so all your tags, your servlet tag, your servlet mapping tag, all your various servlets information is got by your web container. Okay, now after reading this web.inf, you can say when you are running your first servlet, when you are pressing your shift F6, or you are running, or you are giving a hit on your web browser URL in the URL bar, then you are sending your first request to your servlet. Whenever you are running the program or you are sending the request, at that time your Tomcat is responsible for creating the object of the servlet. Okay, so this creation of object of the servlet that you have run is the responsibility of your Tomcat server. Now this Tomcat is going to create this particular object for the servlet that you are running, as well as it is responsible for calling the constructor of that servlet. So you can say that your servlet is in memory. Next is, the init method of your servlet is called by your Tomcat server. So the next step is the servlet's init method or initialization method is called. During this initialization, all the various configuration parameters of your servlet, you can say your username, your password, all this information is provided to the servlet by your Tomcat server. The next step is, after your init, the service method is called. In this service method, all your form processing, like you are supposed to add two numbers or whatever business logic you have, or whatever web page that you want to render and give back to the client, is processed in your service method. After your service method is over, then the response is sent back to the client via a browser. Now this response is not sent line by line. Instead, there is a buffer kept on at your service method, which takes all the output of the page that is being processed, and after the whole service method or the page has been processed, the buffer is rendered back to the client in form of your web browser display. Okay, now this was for the first request that is coming. I have not yet destroyed or removed the servlet object back from memory, so my servlet object is still running. Now suppose you have a second request. So on your second request, the object that was initially created will be reused. It will be reused by creating a thread of that object again, but a new object will not be created because the previous object is not destroyed. Okay, so your previous object is taken. With the help of that object, you are creating another thread, and your service method is called, which means your init method is called once and only once in your code. Okay, now after this service method, your response is rendered back to the client. This process which I just demonstrated is for your generic servlet, which is a superclass of your HTTP servlet. If you want to do this whole code or implement this code for HTTP servlet, then there has to be one change. After the call for your service method, instead of sending the response back, the service method will indirectly call the various methods do or get, do post or do get based on the method that is being redirected by the form. So this particular method, either do get or do post, is internally called by your service method. Okay, now next step is, after this thing is done, your Tomcat is going to be stopped. So whenever you are stopping your Tomcat server, at that time you are going to call the Tomcat is going to call the destroy method of the servlet. In this destroy method of the servlet, you are going to write all the codes for cleanup or closing the connection of the database, or you can say you are performing some freeing of memory. So all these deallocation kind of tasks are done in this method. Okay, so this is also called by the Tomcat, and it is called once and only once in the life cycle of the servlet. So you can conclude that in your servlets, your init method is called once after the creation of the object of the servlet, and once only in the lifetime of your servlet. Destroy method also called once in the lifetime of the servlet. It is also called by your Tomcat, and it is used for cleanup code, whereas your service method can be called as many number of times during the life cycle of your servlet. Okay, now let us see the change that I told you for the HTTP servlet. The response which is sent back to the browser is now called by a do get do post in the service method, and after that the response is rendered back to the browser. Okay, so these two changes are there for HTTP servlet only, whereas your generic servlet is going to work on this principle only. Okay, so this was all for the life cycle. We will now demonstrate practically how this life cycle takes place. We are going to create a servlet on Glassfish, and we are going to call the init, service and destroy method and see the practical implementation of the life cycle of the servlet. So let's begin. We shall start with the life cycle demonstration of servlets. So for that we are going to create a new servlet. Let us name it life cycle, and let us finish next. We will add it to deployment descriptor, and the URL for running it is this, and let us finish it. Let us see whether the entry is reflected in the web.xml file. Yes, you have a servlet tag for lifecycle in which you have servlet name, servlet class, and you also have a servlet mapping tag for lifecycle. Okay, now let us see the various parts of the lifecycle. First, you need to import javax.servlet.star, import javax.servlet.http.star, and import java.io.star for print writer. Okay, public class life cycle extends HTTP servlet. Okay, we are doing this for HTTP servlet, not generic servlet. Okay, so we are doing it specifically for HTTP, which has do get do post methods internally called by the service method. Okay, first method is public void init method. In the init method, we can pass all the configuration parameters and give it to your servlet. Now configuration parameters can be setting username, passwords, they can be setting file path. Okay, so your Tomcat or your Glassfish, in short your web container, is responsible for creating the object of servlet config, where it is doing all setting all the various configuration parameters and passing it to a specific servlet. So you don't need to move into details of servlet config right now, but this parameter is passed here, servlet config. So we can pass the configuration object here. Okay, inside the init method I will just give a console statement printing that this is the init method. Okay, you cannot you will just print it inside here. Okay, this is my init method. Next is I will create my service method. So public void, you can use doGet doPost also, and you can use service method also, because anyhow service method is in generic servlet, which is a super class of HTTP. So you will be able to use the service method here, and it throws servlet exception and IO exception. Okay, right. In this public void service, you will write response dot set content type. Okay, we have not specified parameters here, so you need HTTP servlet request REQ and HTTP servlet response res. Now I will be able to use res dot set content type, and content type is text / HTML, and print writer out is response dot get writer. Okay, and using this we are going to write service method. Okay, this is my service method, and lastly I will call the destroy method. That will be called automatically by your Tomcat. Okay, so you don't have to worry about calling the init as well as destroy method. Both these methods will be called by your Glassfish or your container, so you don't have to worry about calling init destroy. You just have to worry about your service method. You are getting the results back to the client, right? And here we can print destroy called. Okay, now these dots I have done for a specific reason. There is so many things coming here in the console that you won't be able to see this statement being printed. So I have put so many dots here so that it is visible when you are getting the outputs on the console, because these two are meant to be on console. They are system.out.println statements, and this is out.println. so service method will be the output that you will see in the browser, whereas init and destroy methods you will be able to see inside your console. So what happens in this program is, when I will run this code, Tomcat is going to read the web.xml file. From the web.xml file, Tomcat is going to find out that this program is supposed to be run. So it will move to the servlet tag with this name, and it is going to find this class. So it is going to move here. It is going to run this particular code. Now object will be created. First of all, the object for lifecycle will be created and constructor for lifecycle will be called. So this program will start running. Next is Tomcat will call the init method, and it is going to give all the configuration parameters via this object to the servlet. Now this system.out.println statement will be printed in the console, and next the service method will be called by default. So you will get your result in the browser in form of service method. Now it comes to a halt. Okay, if you want to destroy this particular servlet from memory, then its object will be destroyed and memory will be cleared. Okay, so for that you have to stop the server, and when you will stop the server, you can see this destroy being called. Okay, so let's begin. Let us run this code. So I am running this code. Okay. After running this code, I can see this is my service method, right? So service method of lifecycle has been called. We will see the init method. Let us see the init method. See, this is the init method. So first your init method was called, and then you were able to see the output in form of this. Okay, now let us check destroying method calling. So for that you need to stop the server, because when you stop the server, all the object creation for this particular servlet will be destroyed, and the destroy method will be called by your Tomcat. So let us see this. I stopped the server and destroy has been called. Okay, so this was your destroy method and this was your init method, and this output was for your service method. So that's all for lifecycle from my side. Thank you.